Hey there, Diocese of the Rio Grande. This is your Lenten update. The year is 2024. I'm coming to you live from the Big Bend, just outside of Fort Davis, Texas. This time of year is often called the Hungry Gap, as anybody who's worked in agriculture knows, as any dedicated vegetable gardener knows. This time of year is the Hungry Gap, and there's no question why Lent and the Hungry Gap fall in the same time of year. You know that you start planting first your peas and then your brassicas, your kales, your lettuces, those sorts of things, and you start harvesting them in late spring. Through the summer, then, you're harvesting your tomatoes and your okra and all of those good vegetables. Then, as the fall comes on, it's time for your pumpkins and your winter squash, your Brussels sprouts, more brassicas to finish out the year. And then in the harvest, you harvest and you preserve, you dry all of the produce that you've grown through the summer to eat through the winter. And by this time of year, supplies are running a little bit low. By this time of year, you're counting the last few cans of your tomato sauce. You're wondering if the apples that are still in the storage bins are starting to go bad. This is the time of year when the new crops are not yet ready to eat, and the old crops are running low. It's called the Hungry Gap, and for many centuries of human history, everybody participated in the Hungry Gap. Today, of course, we have grocery stores and you can buy ripe strawberries any time of the year. But of course, the Hungry Gap still exists. For many children in New Mexico and far west Texas, there's a Hungry Gap not just once a year, but every week. For many people living paycheck to paycheck, there is a Hungry Gap every month where we don't really have enough for 3 meals a day. The larder is not really full, and so we economize and we skip a meal or two and we experience that hunger. Lent is about hunger. Lent is about recognizing our vulnerability. God has created us to hunger. God has created us with desire for that which we don't have. I suppose we could have been made in such a way that we could eat without hunger and just kind of fill up the tank. My truck doesn't really get hungry. It just doesn't run if it doesn't have gas. But me, I feel the pangs of hunger. And I yearn to be filled. And I don't just want to be filled with any food. I hunger and yearn for the good food that I enjoy. And I know you're the same. Lent is a time to get in touch with the fact of our hunger. Lent is a time to embrace the fact that we desire, that we yearn, that we are hungry not just for food. We are hungry for justice. We are hungry to live in a world in which no child goes to bed hungry, no person experiences a hungry gap. We are yearning for a world that is other than the way it is. And so in Lent, whatever it is you're giving up, whatever it is you're taking on, remember, it is about coming into touch with your hunger so that we realize our reliance on God and on God's goodness in providing for us. Because, of course, with the hunger comes the joy of that hunger being satiated. When we are filled with good food after we have had a time of hungry, there is feasting. There is joy. And that joy is different from how my truck feels when I fill it up with gas. That joy is celebrated in community as we all eat together. And that beloved community is knit together. And our hunger is satiated. So, my friends, as we enter this season of Lent, get in touch with your hunger because God will fill your belly. God will fill your soul. And let us hunger for justice so that we work this Lent to make sure that nobody is hungry and that we all are one beloved community where everybody's need is known and everybody's need is met and we all love one another as God loves us. God bless you, Diocese of the Rio Grande. Get out here sometime to the Big Bend. It's a beautiful part of God's world.